Girl, that's my kind of anthem. It's some peace and rock for the Lord, cousins like Swiss. Well, I'm trying to answer. This ain't the white man's world, it's not kind of class. The white man's world, that's my kind of anthem. It's some peace and rock for the Lord, cousins like Swiss. I swore, everybody is so hardcore. Well, I'm trying to answer. My main thing, like to do a thing I ain't got to ask. I'm installed sometimes check. Holy Spirit does not cast without a price tag, but a price back, not a five raps, get my rest. Nigga death from me, so we ain't up the law, one leaf, let's talk from day and talk. Good shepherd, I got the right thing just like God. Like my brother, I'm killing the job, killing the fire, and don't say no coin tail, from no tail. I'm in the coin tail, so I'm going to do it. Don't get you beat off that. Say you say they don't. Say only to find out you do be remember face to the true king. You sing out of the sun, out of new thing, project new thing, word up, wrong shit, got made for proof. Who sing out of the sun, out of new thing, project new thing, word up, wrong shit, got made for proof, and great ways. They sing the blues music, wash away the down with the true blame. Blacks, Latinos, the negative stop marching, start moving. Smile when you can, shot like you from Memphis, wedding. Getting so I'm getting no cheek gon' be shedding. This ain't white man's world, it's our common class. I don't want a white man's girl, that's my kind of anthem. It's a recent prophet of the Lord, cousins like Swiss, like swore, when why it's so hard. Well, I'm trying to answer. This ain't the white man's world, it's our common class. I don't want a white man's girl, that's my kind of anthem. It's a recent prophet of the Lord, cousins like Swiss, like swore, when why it's so hard. Well, I'm trying to answer. Bitch, no minus the barrel. The white man and devil, yeah, they put together. I got crack in my neighborhood, infected with heroin. They kill us every day. We live with terrorists. Only way to live this curse, if we keep the commandments. Curse don't teach a nigga shit. They just singing and dancing. One West, UBK, you gonna leave us some answers. But your pastor lacks way. He don't got the answer. Police got body cam and still kill you on camera. Set you off the car and beat you right in front of your family. Men of war scar, black boots in my camo, America about to fall. It's the dedications, menorah and candles. I never drop my sword. It's a glorious battle. We intend over your city. Yeah, there's one body under Christ. Prepare slaughter for their children, cause somebody gotta die. What's one West? I'm here to come to work to the muscle to get it. She got the beauty in the bone. Who's the one that put on you? Who's bringing it home? the automatic. You niggas know wrong piece like right. No, all the time. All jokes aside, you know, I need to be like, I'm listening there for life. This is there for life. I'm gonna get for life. Nigga, this is good old. And your mother ride. Big old class for you, my nigga. On 40 for the road. The world's turning. I'm a privilege. We got phones, but I got big rules. And they want to, I tell you what. We take with you for remain in the Christ. Just in the know, so please forgive me for the time that it rains in. I don't respect you. Because you expect it's your peace. They say everything they claim is out of God's fault. But it's a weird out in days like you want. You say that. Give them to a priest, you won't make it out in one place. Because you can say, you can show so how you feel like it's true like the shop? It's like you need the niggas, I should walk. You know this. So I think that you better keep it up. Make sure I listen to them. Get the record. The paper we like pop ready. Speaking old right it's not never. They all so all the days you do my niggas. We still got and I never do my niggas like appreciate it. Shorty say she give me sex, she wanna let that love go. But I let that go. I just feel like it's too much. She say I should walk. He did all people know he felt. You know what this is? So I let so you better keep it.
All right. Get it. Clap it up. Yahweh Shem Yahshai Barakatham, Lord of brothers. Yahweh Shamar Latham, Bashem Yahshai, to all the sisters. We in here, man. ICBK Northern California. Let's get it. You know?
That's right.
What's going down, man? What's going down, Agi Tuwab? Most High in Christ. We got Triple Mawak Khan in the building. Let's get that brother in. You know what I'm saying? What's good in the building? Most High in Christ, man. Triple Matham Yad online. You know what I mean? Get that brother in hand. You know what I mean? Sister Flow as well, you know. Shalom, sis, shalom. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. First things first. Questions. I know Wade as well. You really got questions. Go with that as well. You got any questions out?
Oh, Slovakia. I had a question on. I have more than one, but this.
Yeah, let's get it.
Slovakia, I left my bag at home.
Okay. All right.
But one question that I was thinking is,
Mhm.
with the prodigal son,
Mhm.
in Matthew, when Christ is talking about it,
Right.
when he says, when the father's talking about how his sons come back from the dead, is he talking about how he was like dead as the way that our people are dead today, walking? Is that the same, in the same sense as what he was referring to?
Let's pull it up, and that's some good insight too. So, what is the story of the prodigal son about? While you grab it, let's see. It counts. We got. We got one. Luke chapter 15. Yeah. Luke chapter 15. Let's get to that. And before we start reading, I'll go ahead and ask you from your understanding, what is this parable about? Let's see. Yeah.
So like you said, it's just talking about Israel coming back to the Father.
Israel coming back to the Father as a nation.
Help build urgency.
Turn this off. Explain a little bit.
So like I said, from my understanding, the older brother is Judah, whereas the younger brother is Israel.
Okay.
Where the younger brother goes into the world and takes on the customs of all these heathens, and then finally comes back and says, "Better be a servant in my father's house," and comes back to his father's house, and his father accepts him, saying that my son was dead, but now he come back alive.
Right. That's it. That's on point. You know what I mean? But and all right, we'll get into it. We'll break it down. So let's see. Let's go. Let's start from the 15 and 11.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 11. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me." And he divided unto them, saying, divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into the far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living.
Right. So the story of the prodigal son, the way the Christian church tells it, is always an example of just one person going off, living foul, living like a Christian, really, being in the world, like a heathen. In the Christian term, a heathen is just somebody that's doing evil. But, in the truth, living like a heathen, meaning going out and following these other nations. This precept is really about not just one individual person going off and doing their own thing. It's like what the brother Mawal Khan said. It's about the split of the nation of Israel going into 2 factions, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And this is talking about the northern kingdom going off and following the heathen nations and making their own way of life based on that, right? So, all right, this is the younger brother. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want.
Right.
And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have fulfilled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat,
Right.
and no man gave unto him.
Right. So he gone into this country. He's gotten poor because he's living like these heathens, and now he has nothing to show for it. Lost all of his inheritance, and now he is begging and living at the bottom of this other society. That's what our people have done. We have gone in and given up our culture to celebrate Thanksgiving, to celebrate Christmas. And we give all of our money, I got you, give all of our money and resources. You work 365 days out of the year. And then at the end of the year, Christmas, you're going to give all of your money, all of your savings, empty your account out to purchase from these people, and they're going to enrich themselves. Like Alexa. All right, I don't think Alexa is working right, but go ahead.
So with that also, with that reflect how our condition is today in the U.S.
Right.
across America.
Right.
Kind of.
In what way? What do you mean?
In that we fell away from Christ. So it's talking about Israel then, but it's also talking about us now.
Exactly. Yeah. We still on this. These precepts were put down for us dealing at that time and at this time now, because we still haven't fully come in. We still haven't returned as a nation. And so this time in the context is specifically warning them, the so-called tribe of Judah, or the Judeans, the southern kingdom, right? The so-called southern kingdom is telling them to not look at their brothers a certain way, have themselves be puffed up. But going back to Christmas, right? You're going to spend all your money with them. This is their time that they get rich. Their business might be failing the 10, 11 months out of the year. Yeah, I don't think it got ever hooked up though, too. But yeah, the water for that. Their business might be failing throughout the entire year, but they wait until this time to bounce back. So I wanted to look up a word. What's the definition of a fiscal year? Do you know what that is?
So like you said, I believe it's the time that taxes begin and end.
Mm-hmm. A year is reckoned for taxing or accounting. Also, from my understanding, used by businesses. Let's see, from businesses, how is it used? What is a fiscal year? A fiscal year is 1 year period that companies and governments use for financial reporting and budgeting. It is most commonly used for accounting purposes to prepare financial statements. Although a fiscal year can start January 1st and end December 31st, not all fiscal years correspond with the calendar. For example, universities often begin and end their fiscal years according to the school year. But companies may choose to report their financial information on a non-calendar fiscal year based on the specific nature and revenue cycle of their businesses. So certain companies, they might say their year starts in March and then it ends in February. You know what I mean? But a lot of businesses, their fiscal year is still surrounding around basically Christmas. You know, they start adding and calculating how good they've done. They've got to include Christmas in there because that is, it's better to have that at the end of, you know what I'm saying? To see how well their business done. If they don't have Christmas in there, a lot of retail businesses, then their whole business will look like trash. You know what I mean? So they can bet on Christmas to bounce back. You can have 11 months of trash, but if you have one good month, then you're good. And I saw somebody was saying something yesterday. He was like, this old black man, he was like, I would rather have a plastic bag with $5,000 in it than to have a $5,000 bag with nothing in it. You understand? He said, we as blacks and Latinos, we have been known as a race that is consumers. We're buying the Gucci, the Louis, the Fendi, Prada, Chanel, whatever else is new and on in fashion, but they're the ones selling it to us. They're profiting off of us, and we're giving to them. He also said that rich people stay rich by pretending to be poor. And poor people stay poor by pretending to be rich. I'll say it to you one more time. Rich people stay rich by pretending to be poor, and poor people stay poor by pretending to be rich. And that's the things that we have learned in this place. And that's what happened with this brother when he went to live amongst these heathens. He was studying, he was balling out, buying everything. And who was over there getting all the money from him? These other nations. It's the same way we were talking about last week, the NFL players. They get this big old check and go spend it with the jeweler, and go spend it with the car dealer, and go spend it with the clothing person. Those people are getting a check off of you coming up. So you don't come up, they do. And so we always got to learn that. But keep going.
Verse 17. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough?
Read that first part again. Read that part slowly. Verse 17.
And when he came to himself,
what did he do?
He came to himself.
One more time.
He came to himself.
He started to realizing and come around to realizing who he was. That's the importance. We have to learn who we are. We got to come back to ourselves. You're like, hold on. Wait. I'm living in a pigsty. What am I doing here? You are this NBA player. You done made $100 million. Why are you working at McDonald's right now? You got to come to yourself and realize, man, something went wrong. I did something wrong. I got to change something. Something is going bad in what I'm doing. Keep going.
He said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare? And I perish with hunger.
Right. My father, he's a rich man. He has everything that he wants and needs. Matter of fact, his servants have extra food that they don't even need. Keep going.
18. I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee.
Right. And so when these tribes, these northern kingdom brothers, start to come to themselves and realize that they have sinned, they have gone against the Lord, the law, statutes, and commandments, they're going to want to come back and return to the truth and the knowledge of the Lord. Keep going.
19. And am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants.
Right. So he's saying, I'm going to take a lower position. I'd rather just be underneath the servants in your household than to be out here at the bottom of these heathens. Keep going.
20. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion.
And had what?
Compassion.
Had hate.
Compassion.
Had jealousy.
Compassion.
Anger.
His father saw him and had compassion.
Right. And that's the most glorious attribute that the Most High has is mercy. You know, and that's what we need to learn and have. And that's the lesson that Christ is trying to teach his men. Is to have what?
Compassion.
Exactly. The same way he had compassion for his son who didn't deserve any of that. Anyone else in the world, nigga, you dead to me. That's how they, the Italians, we love acting like Italians. Italians, that's their culture. That's Esau's culture. He's dead to me. You know, my son don't do what I say. He doesn't act like I want him to act. He goes and does things that I disagree with. He's dead to me. Cut him off. I'll kill him if let me do it myself. You know what I mean? That's how they are. But we got to learn how to be compassionate with each other because this is how the Lord is with us. Keep going. Mm-hmm.
And ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. 21.
And I'll say that. Well, you know, Hebrew culture, kisses is a touch, it's embrace. He hugged him. You know, Edomites, they always try to use these type of things like they kissing each other on the cheek or this, all that. A kiss is just a touch. And that's, what's that called? Old English. If you ever somebody say they drive in their car, it might kiss the curb. You know what I mean? It just means it touch. So just for that. We'll keep going.
21. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son.
Mm-hmm.
But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry.
Right, he having a celebration for his son return and keep going. And this is the verse that you had a question about. Is this it? All right.
For this my son was dead and is alive again.
Right.
He was lost and is found.
Right. So now, what's your question?
So was this death the same death that we experienced before we come into the truth, where we're all dead walking?
That's exactly it. You are not alive in the world. You an Israelite, you're walking around, doesn't matter how much money you have, they can tell you that all of the time that, okay, life is about getting money, life is about acquiring this, how many people you slept with, how much drugs you can get high off of, how much jewelry you have. Those people that have all these things, if they don't have the truth and the knowledge of the Lord, if they're not obeying the law, statutes, and commandments, they're dead on the inside because their life has no purpose, has no value. And when they go to sleep at night, they feel it. Like, could you imagine that? Like, I like jewelry like the next man. I want to have nice things like everybody else, a nice car. That would be cool to have. A nice house. Oh, Most High in Christ. If the Lord sees fit that I'm able to have it, and if I can do something with some money to help people, that's the main goal that I would have. But have nice things for myself, that would be too wild. But could you imagine going to sleep at night with a $500,000 chain on your neck and still feeling like your life is meaningless? And it's so heavy because they're going to sleep with this $500,000 chain on. And the fact that they have that chain from this heathen person is showing their life is meaningless. Like, there's no way you cannot feel like that because the person that's really enriching themselves is you're the lick, as people say. You are the hustle. You know what I mean? Like, you're somebody else's come up. They're taking that money. They're not gonna buy a $500,000 chain. What are they gonna do with it, Maokan? Now, hopefully, you remember your go ahead.
So like I said, they're gonna put it into the stock market.
Okay, and then do what with that money?
They're gonna invest it.
Okay, and then do what with it though?
Oh, they're gonna buy some assets with it.
Well, what are they getting it for?
Oh, Salaki, sir. I'm not sure. Salaki.
Okay, no sweat. My ass, a sister. This brother, he's a rapper. He's a baller. He's an entertainer. He goes out with his first check and spends $500,000 on a chain. And he's going to sleep at night and he doesn't feel like he's worth anything at the end of the day. Somebody else just made $500,000 selling him a chain. It's probably a little Asian man. Y'all seen Johnny Dang. You know what I mean? It's probably him or Eric. They're taking that $500,000 and doing what with it? Why don't they feel worthless? Because they're going to use that money to do what? What do you think? Okay, well, they're coming up to do what? And
They should just build something greater off of the money that they just made.
That's it. Leading to just bring it all the way home. The difference between our people and their people. That's almost giving it away. Almost.
Yes, sir.
You got it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So so they're gaining, and we're pretty much losing. We're giving our money away.
Okay, I'm saying, let me see. For time's sake, I'm trying this one more time. We are getting our money and giving it to the heathens. They're getting the money and they're going to
Slaughtering their people.
Exactly. That's it right there. See the difference? See how the cycle ended? You know what I'm saying? Your life is worthless because you don't even know what the money was for. They know what the money's for. The money's for their people, for their nation. East Indians, they say it all the time. East Indians come over here. If y'all not aware, India 20 years ago, 30 years ago, was a third world country. Horrible conditions. Now, if you're not realizing, there's been a flood of East Indians that come to the Bay Area. What are they coming here for?
Doctors, tech.
Right, in tech industry. They're taking millions and millions of dollars from here and sending it back to India to build up India. They'll work 10 years here, 20 years here, then they go back there and build freeways and highways and build their own tech companies because they're trying to build up their nation. They didn't come over here and say, oh, I'm about to get this tech job and ball out and get a Bentley and stun on East Indians and go back and be like, you broke East Indian niggas, y'all niggas ain't nothing. That's what we do. You see what I'm saying? Because we don't understand what the money was for. They do. That's why we don't get it. They getting it because we're giving it to them. They don't come back to us. They don't come back to us and say, you know what, we're going to spend with Marshawn Lynch. Let's get some East Indian dollars and give it to whoever. You know what I mean? Give it to this rapper. They don't do that. It's only going one way because they know the money is for their people and it gives them more power. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But so we're definitely walking dead. The precept for that is Ezekiel. Was that the 37th chapter when it talks about the valley of the dry bones? Right. That's us. We're the nation of dead people. And we're not going to come back to life unless we come into the truth. And then now we're going to see that everything that we do should be for our people. And that's what brings us back to life. He's like, why am I being over here underneath these heathens in a swine in a pig's pen when I could go at least be with my people and be at the bottom? If I'm going to suffer, let me be at the bottom of my people. And when he went back to his people, he got raised up still. And he still ended up coming up. And that's how things will be for us. We come back, turn around, be willing to, you don't want to go, you want to get your money and leave the hood. Instead of you getting your money and coming back and living right in the hood with your people, you'll find out the hood won't be the hood anymore. That's what these rappers don't get. That's what these celebrities don't get. All of these rich people, if they came back and lived in the hood, it wouldn't be the hood anymore. The only reason why it's the hood is because you ain't here. You are the greatest of us, and you always leave us. They call that brain drain. Have you heard of that one before?
I'm not heard it, but I've heard the concept.
You said you haven't heard it, but you heard of it. You lost it.
Of like how once a black person gains any prominence,
right,
or any person that's not white gains any prominence,
mm-hmm.
they move into that society.
Oh, okay, no, right. And so brain drain, they use that for other nations too, like Nigerians and stuff like that. They come to America. You're a doctor from Nigeria, and you come to America and you work. If they don't go back to Nigeria, then Nigeria has a brain drain, meaning the top of their society is not there to teach the other people. So now in Nigeria, it doesn't come up because all their smartest people are gone. So it's like we're in the hood, but all of our doctors move to the suburbs. All of our engineers, All the people that your neighbor is supposed to be the one teaching you this and showing you that, the most educated people are the ones that lead. The ones with all the business ingenuity, Jay-Z got all this, he's going to leave. So how are we supposed to learn? You see what I mean? So that's the same thing. Like if they were willing to come back and risk being at the bottom of everything, you would end up being on top. It's just going to take a little time. But go ahead up.
That's like sir. So I was gonna ask
Mhm.
So in the same way that it means coming to life and coming to the truth,
Right.
does it not mean how? Because I know like some people like that aren't in the truth, they'll believe that when it says, "Oh, he's dead and he comes back to life," it's just him saying that the Father believes that he was gone, he was out of sight, so he was dead, and now that he's back, he's alive again.
Right.
So is it not that it's not supposed to be chopped up to something that simple?
Well, so let me try to see if I understand your question. Are you saying, did the Father think that his son was literally dead? Is that what you're asking?
No, not that he was literally dead. But like it's like I know Christians for sure because something like, when I was in the church, it was spoken about. It was said that it wasn't talking about how we came back to life. It was talking about he was gone. So it's just like if you had like it would be the same thing if you had a family member that left, they're dead, but when they come back, it's like they're back to life. And it was just simply that. So it wouldn't be on. It's not supposed to be just simply that.
Okay. So I think I understand, but I'm not quite. Let me see. So Israel left, or the northern kingdom at this time left. Christ is dying so that they can come back. He's giving up his life so that they can come back and join with the southern tribe. They were dead because they were heathens. They lost their identity. They call themselves Greeks. They're calling themselves Romans. They're not identifying with our culture anymore. So they were dead. They weren't allowed to come back around Israelites because they were cut off from their people, their original nation. And so I don't know.
So my question is, so in like the same sense as in like if you weren't in the truth, they don't teach it as that. They teach it as you can go out and sin as much as you want, and then come back and ask for forgiveness and you're fine. That's how they teach it.
That's how Christians teach. Oh, okay. Okay, now I see what you're saying. So Christians, let me stop you right there. Christians say this story is about you growing up in a Christian church, getting 18 and going smoking weed, smoking dope, going off to school and having sex with a whole bunch of people, and then you get older and you come back to the church and they supposed to accept you. Okay, so I'm with you on that.
So
now, right?
My question was, so within that, it's like, is it not that at all?
Okay, so you're saying, do they have it wrong? Yes, because they're trying to make this story about the individual again. And it's all Christianity is so individualistic. That's why they always say Christ died for me. Christ did this for me. When Christ didn't die for you, he died for Israel. He died for a nation. So if you keep looking at it as this individualistic, I was a sinner, now I come to church and I'm good, you're missing the whole entire point of if your nation's not good, you're not good. That's what Christianity allows you to do. Allows you to say, I live in $1 million house and I pay tithes to Creflo Dollar and the Lord loves me. No, he doesn't. You don't follow the laws and you don't love your neighbor as yourself. You don't love your nation of people as yourself. You just want to be good. That's it. And that's what Christians always do. They always make it about you, only you. And once you're good, nothing else matters. That's that equally yoked. All that talk is always centering on getting you to separate yourself from your family, from your brothers. You know what I mean? And that's the spirit that the Judites started to have. and we'll read the next verses and then explain that more. That they were feeling like, okay, we keep Passover, we're good. F them other brothers. They not our brothers no more. We don't care about them no more. Missing the entire point and purpose of compassion and having mercy on them. And so when you think about yourself only, they make it sound good, like they're talking about having compassion on you, but you really will end up not having compassion on anybody else. You always be like, well, I was able to do it. It's always gonna come to that. I got off of drugs. I used to smoke crack in the 80s. Now I go to church, I'm holy sanctified. And you're not going to have any compassion on anybody else because it's not based around your nation. You won't see it as a oppression problem. You think it's an individual problem. You won't see. Matter of fact, I just had a good precept. I'll pull it in a second, but go ahead.
That's like, that's good. So, like, would that spirit be similar to like, am I my brother's keeper?
What do you mean?
In the way where since it's like, I don't have to worry about my brother
Okay.
in any sense, and I'm fine. I'm fine.
Right.
So you don't have to watch over my brother.
Right. Yep. That's right on point.
Come.
That's how exactly how they take it. Where is this? Hosea chapter 12, verse 2. If you can hold that one in Luke, just go right back. If you want, I can just read it. Unless you can grab it real quick.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Hosea 12 and 2.
Yep. And we're gonna go right back to Luke.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 12, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord hath also a controversy.
Hold on, not 2, verse 3. Salaki. That was
Verse
my fault.
3.
Mm-hmm.
He took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he had power with God.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, he had power over the angel, and prevailed. He wept and made supplication unto him.
Right. So like actually I wanted 7. This is still on topic, is talking about Esau. But let's just get straight to the point of Esau, verse 7. Mm-hmm.
Verse 7. He is a merchant. The balances of deceit are in his hand.
Right. So he is a merchant. The same thing we talking about. They're always selling to us, but they're not doing it in a fair way. They're gonna raise the price up on this, increase the price up on that. As another comedian, he was making fun of how car salesmen get trained. He's like, yeah, they come into here and they got this credit score. All right, we're gonna say we bought this Hellcat for how much we buy it for? $75,000. All right, we're gonna mark it up, say it's worth $100,000. He was like, if they got any type of bad low credit, we're gonna whack them in the head with 17% interest. You know what I mean? So they're gonna make another 17,000 on top of that 25,000 they already increased on you. And then they was going to another part. He was like, but anyway, that's how they are. They're merchants, but their balances, it's their scale is off. If you ever, brothers in the world, they buy weed, the scale is not accurate. You're weighing it and it's telling you this, but it's really something else. And that profits them. Keep going. Mm-hmm. Read it from the top.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
He is a merchant. The balances of deceit are in his hand. He loveth to oppress.
He what?
Loveth to oppress.
Right. That's what they love to do. They love to oppress our people, to put us down. That's what they get glory in. And Friday, what did he say? He said, son, all day long, my foot up a dog's. And yeah, it says, that's my pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Like, they get pleasure out of seeing you become destroyed. And so, but keep going back to Luke. Right. No sweat. Luke in 15 and verse 25. Mm-hmm.
Verse 25. Now his elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing.
Mm-hmm.
He called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound.
Mm-hmm.
And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him.
Mm-hmm.
He answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgress I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I might make merry with my friends.
Right. So what is this talking about? According to the parable. Go ahead.
It's talking about Judah
Mm-hmm.
and being high and mighty, saying, I haven't fallen away from your commandments,
Right.
and I haven't even received any type of reward.
Right. We still in captivity too.
Come.
We underneath the Romans, but we keep Passover. We don't eat pork. Those brothers that went to Greece and Rome, they eating pork. They celebrate Christmas with the heathens. They dealing with white women. Why are we suffering? Or why haven't we got what they're getting, or getting this glory or whatnot? Why is that? Why are they allowed to come back when we kept the laws this time? You know, they should not be able to be brought back into the fold. Go ahead.
So like I said, because of the sacrifice of Yahushua.
Right. That's what he's getting them ready to understand. It's something that, you know, the people that were teaching the scriptures to them, they saw the letter of the law. They said, if you don't do this, we cut you off. And they said, okay, we're cutting them off. But they didn't have compassion and mercy to see that they should still have love for their brothers. You know what I'm saying? If they want to change and come back, then you should welcome them back. All right?
That's like it, sir.
Uh-huh.
So with that,
Mhm.
so within that, would that mean that Christ coming to fulfill the law?
Mhm.
Would that be him bringing compassion and mercy?
Definitely.
Come.
Definitely. What do you mean by fulfilling the law, though?
That's how you know the law doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
And as before the law, we wouldn't have, or we wouldn't look at the individuals with compassion and mercy. The law was the law, and
Right.
it carried out.
Right.
But with this, it's kind of saying, it's like with compassion and mercy, it's just like you don't have to die, even though you're under the law.
Okay, got it. Right. You're talking about when we don't pass a judgment towards a brother, like if they got caught with adultery, we're not going to take a brother out and stone him. And so that's some type of mercy on that person. And that's because of Christ. Right. And yeah. And Christ is doing that because the men that were going to throw the stones were doing the exact same thing, were sinners as well. So if it cleared our whole slate, I think I'll go to a precept to explain that one. But let's keep going. Mm-hmm.
Verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Also like in verse 30. But as soon as this thy son has come,
Mm-hmm.
which hath devoured thy living with harlots,
Right.
thou hast killed for him the fatted calf.
Right. Keep going.
And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine.
Mm-hmm.
It was meet that we should make merry and be glad, for this thy brother was dead,
Right.
and is alive again,
Right.
and was lost and is found.
Right. That's the reason why he's celebrating. The precept above it says that the angels rejoice when one sinner comes into the truth. Where is that at? It says, and for one sinner, the angels rejoice. Where is that? I just saw that. That's a one West precept right there. If I see it. Verse 15 and verse 7.
Salakia?
Luke 15 and verse 7.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Luke 15, verse 7.
Okay, now is that it? And see the likewise joy shall be in heaven. Yeah, that's it right there. Yep.
Come. Book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 7. I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repenteth more than over 99 just persons which need no repentance.
Right, and that's another concept that they have to understand. And so it's something we all just have to remember and keep in the front of our mind, especially as you grow and you change. A lot of people, right, will forget. And it's funny when you see it happen. They forget the journey that it took them to get into the truth. It is a real interesting thing to see. You know, you know about the school, you know about the breakdowns, you see class. It's 2-3 years, some people 10 years. You meet a sister next week. No pork in your house. Stop smoking. Like, God damn. We ain't do you like that. You ain't coming to class and we like, nigga, where's the pork at in your refrigerator, nigga? You understand? Nigga, you smoking weed tonight? You smoking weed? Where the weed at? Where the weed at? You understand? Like, the brothers didn't do you like that. The Lord didn't do you like that. But now you got the truth, and now your cousin, yeah, nigga, you out there with them brothers on them. You gonna go to jail. You gonna go to jail. Like you become someone, and it's in your love and care for the person, which is right, and you want them to change, but you don't see that you had taken time to change yourself. So at least give that to someone else too. Have compassion in someone's journey and growing in the truth. You know what I mean? Have mercy in that. And, you know, that's going to help someone grow more than anything than the, you know, that part right there.
Okay.
Yep. So let's go to Jeremiah chapter 3 real quick. Let's see if this is what I want. If not, I have to find it later and we'll go around to next topic. I see the brother had a question as well online. Let's see, Jeremiah 3 and 10. Blah, 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 blah. Now, I will say this as a disclaimer. There's nothing wrong with you. If you courting and you say that, you courting, you setting your standards up, that's what you're supposed to do. Let me get that out there. Like if you just go out, meet a sister, you in the truth, you work with them, you have compassion, but before you decide to marry this person, you should want to get them to a point where they're in the truth. You know what I mean? Because you're setting yourself up for something that could be avoided because you're not married to that person. But you already married to a person, you're going to have to work with them. You know what I mean? You have to deal with that, and you're going to have to help them grow. You're going to have some type of compassion. Now, you can be less compassionate with somebody you just met at the damn bar, and it's like, all right, you don't want to stop eating pork. You can still have compassion on them too, but you can let that go. You know what I mean? 6 months, she don't want to change. She's not doing nothing. All right, you out of here. You're not my rib. You just sister in the world. Lord be with you. I hope you do come around to hear what the truth is. But once you made that decision, it's just like a bad knee or a bad hip or a bad back. If your knee go out, you're not gonna cut your leg off. You're gonna walk around with that knee. You're gonna limp with it. You know what I'm saying? That's how we have to be as brothers, and that's how we have to be as sisters in the truth, dealing with each other, always trying to find that we stuck together. Then we're gonna work it out. It might take 10 years. You're dealing with same issue. Might be 20 years. You working and getting this thing together. Now I would hope it don't take that long, but shit, it's like it. Sometimes it is that way. You know what I mean? But sometimes I've seen people take 10 years to come to the truth. They knew about the truth. 20 years, knew since 95. His brothers in the school like that. They knew since 95. That's damn near 30 years now. Might just came into the truth 2-3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Or so everybody has their own thing. All right. Let's see. What am I looking for? Blah blah blah.
3 and 10.
Man, 3 and 1 is on point 2. We'll go ahead and read that. And
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return? Shall he return to her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
right. So the Lord is saying, if a man divorces his wife and she deals with another man and sleeps with him, shall he return to her again? Should he go back and deal with her again? La, that land is polluted. That box is polluted. You know, this has been defiled. That's not right. You know what I mean? And just, I talked to some sister the other day, explaining, she asking about the truth in the school. She a Christian, but she don't know nothing about the Bible. They never told her nothing. She don't know 2 stories. I'm asking about this or that. She probably couldn't name 2 people in the Bible, but she Christian and she believed in Jesus. But then it got to the point about the multiple wives thing, and then all question at the end. So y'all can have more than one wife, but the woman can't have more than one husband. What's the difference between that? And that's the big red flag right there. Women always want to have equality because America teaches that. You understand? America teaches if this person does this, if a man does this, a woman should be able to do that. But it's not reality. It's not realistic. I had to tell the age-old story that I always explained. At one time, I did a presentation to a class full of Black women at HBCU about polygyny and about why it was in the culture for men to have more than one wife. And so one time, if I was in the world, I probably was doing something I needed to be doing. I probably was smoking or something. And I'm watching Maury, and I'm like, damn, it's always every episode. Who is the father? Who is the father? Who is the father? I had a high moment. I'm like, why don't they ever have who's the mama? And I just stopped. As soon as I said, I'm like, oh, I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they have an episode called Who's the Mama? The baby's inside the mama. You know what I'm saying? You can't ever have that. But you can have Who's the Father, because if a woman is dealing with 5 men, 10 men at the same time, you don't know who's the father is because they're a vessel. But if a man is dealing with 5 different women, you know who the father is if that's the way it is. You know what I mean? They didn't have DNA tests in the Bible. You can't build a society off of all that confusion with a woman dealing with multiple men. So we're not the same. It's just a biological fact. There's no equality in that. You can't carry a baby. There can never be an episode of Who's the Mom, because that's not the way we're made up. And so there's a big difference. And just going back to the vessel, like this verse saying the woman is polluted, like the man is leaving something in this woman. Like, I'm not trying to get too graphic. He's leaving something with her. You understand what I'm saying? Like, she's a literal vessel. You defile, you're polluted. The woman's not leaving something with you. It's not inside of you. You know, it's maybe like I'm doing too much. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we're all adults here. Like, you are actually, she's going to carry your child because she's whole, like holding something. And here is explaining it in that way. Like, that's disgusting to deal with something like that. That now I was here, I left something, Now some other man's here, and he left something, and then you want me to come back? Nah, that's polluted. That doesn't work that way. That's defiled. That's disgusting. It's unsanitary. It's a whole lot of things. You know what I mean? It just ain't cool. You know what I mean? But us being Israelites, the Lord is showing us how disgusting we are, bringing it full circle. We gotta bear that burden. He looked at us like a wife. Like how horrible are we as a nation? Men, women, children, everybody. It ain't just about, it's an example using women, but this example is showing how we supposed to feel about ourselves too. You understand? We are defiled just like that person would have been, that woman would have been defiled. So read that verse again.
Book of Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him,
Right, we went with these other nations as a nation. Keep going.
And become another man's, shall he return unto her again?
Right.
Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
Right.
But thou hast played the harlot.
But we played the harlot. We didn't just go deal. He said he divorced her and she went out with one other man. The children of Israel, we played the harlot. We went on the blade, as they say. We posted a back page. If y'all too young for that, we had an ad on the internet with all people come. We selling it. You know what I'm saying? We giving it away. We dealing with multiple people all of the time. We're playing the whore, prostitute. That's what Israel has done. We didn't just sleep with one nation. We didn't just go and like, okay, we Egyptian. We're gonna be like the Egyptians. That's it. Nah, you want to be Egyptian. You want to be Chinese. You want to be Arab. You want to be Roman. You want to be Greek. You want to be Italian tomorrow. And we really do that. You go to one neighborhood, these brothers want to follow the Italian mafia. And you go over here, you go across the island, it's just New York. Jay-Z wants to be like the Italian mafia. John Gotti, all of them, not Yo Gotti, but Irv Gotti, they looked up to the mafia. You go across the water to Staten Island, the Wu-Tang Clan, they look up to the Chinese people. They all talking about Shaolin and this and that. Their whole thing is trying to be like Asians. You go down the street, the Brand Nubian, they want to be African. You see what I mean? Like, we literally try to be like all of the nations around. We play the harlot. We play the whore. None of them do that. None of them other nations do that. They don't be like, oh, today I'm going to be like this. I'm going to be like that. And I'm going to do, nah. But keep going.
With many lovers.
With what?
With many lovers.
Keep going.
Yet return again to me.
Right.
Saith the Lord.
Right. Like, and now you want to come back. Like, that's a type of love and forgiveness that the Lord had for us that really shouldn't have been done. And we're not even allowed to do it in a literal sense, but he's showing how much greater love he had for us to actually do that with us. Let's see, drop down to verse 6. Let's see.
Verse 6. Mm-hmm. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah, the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? Mm-hmm. She is gone up upon every high mountain under Slakin, and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot.
Right.
And I said after Slakin, and I said after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me, but she returned not. Right.
So this is the northern kingdom leaving, and then they still didn't want to return and follow the right way. Right. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it.
Right.
And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce.
Right. Sent them into slavery and in captivity with the Assyrians. Keep going.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also.
Right. So it didn't cause the Judites to say, you know what, we're not going to be like them. They ended up doing the exact same thing. And so this is what made the Lord forgive them. I think, let me see if it goes and explains that. Sorry. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, it's going to explain it. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Let's go down, I think, to like verse 11. I think we're at verse 9.
Salaki, we were kind of.
Yeah.
We're at verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of verse 9. And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
All right, so now Judah's defiling the land. You the last ones that are left. You here, you're at the house, just like the prodigal son. You stayed with the father, but you staying at the father's house, sneaking holes out the back door. You know what I mean? You like, damn, father, why are you letting this son back? He spent all your money on whores. He's like, nigga, you spending all the money on whores too. You stay here with me just because you stay here. I know what you doing at night. You sneaking out and going out and you smoking on the back porch. You know what I mean? Like, you presenting yourself in this way when I'm around, but when I go to sleep, you're going and doing the same exact thing. And let alone, it's one thing, at least he went over there and did it. You doing it at my house. You know, you defiling my house. So keep going.
Verse 10. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly saith the Lord.
Right. So then they always have this air of like, we're still keeping the law. Like, we are with the Lord. We know we messed up here. We went to Babylonian captivity, but we came back. So we built the temple again. We're keeping these laws, but we're underneath the Romans. We're putting them, we have no king but Caesar. It's like you picking and choosing. The law says you can't put no other king over you. But the Sadducees and Pharisees put Caesar over them, put the Romans over them. You can't have both. You can't be a righteous nation and not follow the laws all the way. They were trying to do that. You know, keep going.
Mm-hmm. Verse 11. And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah.
Right. What does that mean?
If I may, what says justify means Salakia, Israel's more deserving of what's happening to them.
What do you mean?
As they're justified for what's happening to them. It's more of a reason for why that's happening.
Israel meaning who?
The northern kingdom.
What's happening to them then?
They're being taken into captivity.
Read it again.
Verse 11. And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel,
right, the northern kingdom,
hath justified herself,
right,
more than treacherous Judah.
Right.
So what would you saying that Israel is more treacherous than Judah?
Well, we go back to the prodigal son. The son that left and did wrong justified himself. What does the word justify mean? Let's see if it's this what I want. Justify definition. Having done for or marked for a good, legitimate reason. Theology, or the spiritual version, it says declared or made righteous in the sight of God. So now read it in that context. Declared or made righteous in the sight of God. One more time.
Slog is saying, Slog is pretty much saying that they paid their time for the backsliding that they committed against the Lord.
All right, read it again. I'm breaking it down.
Verse 11. And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself,
have declared or made themselves righteous in the sight of God. Keep going.
More than treacherous Judah.
Right. Now you see that those brothers did wrong, but they did all the way wrong. Like they went wrong and they stood on business. That's the word of the week. That's the word of the month. Everybody love that stuff. They got me saying it now, man. Stand on business. They went away from the truth and the Lord and their brothers, and they were about that life. They stood on that business. They lived it to the fullest. Like, I remember somebody used to tell me, like, gangbangers, whatever. He was like, my uncle, he came to me. He was like, yeah, you want to go out here? You want to be in the streets? You going to gangbang? Well, if you going to gangbang, little nigga, then be the best gangbanger you can be. Like, do it to the fullest. Like, do it to the max. Don't halfway do it. If you're going to be in the world, be in the world. Like, get your face tatted. You know what I'm saying? Cover it up. You know what I mean? Like, do it all. You know what I mean? But to be TD Jakes, to be Creflo Dollar, to be Martin Luther King, to sit up here and say, I have a dream that one day little white boys and little white girls will come together and hold hands. What do you look like? What does TD Jakes look like? A good guy. Good person. The man of the Lord, who I should follow. But behind closed doors, he is a drug dealer, pimp and a panderer, a child molester, a woman abuser. Which is worse? The gang member that tells you I'll rob you and I'll kill you for my block and I sell dope and I make songs about it. Or the person that says I'm the man of the Lord and I collect money from my people to do the work of the Lord, but I sell drugs too, and I kill people too, and I pimp women too, and I rape women too, and I molest children too. You tell me who's worse. Exactly. Read the verse again now. That's what's being said right here.
Verse 11. And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel.
Yeah, they messed up. They backslide. They went against. They didn't follow laws. Right? Keep going.
Hath justified herself.
Have made themselves right with God. Keep going.
More than treacherous Judah.
Right, because what you're doing is absolutely an abomination. Like there's no justification for you to have the law, read the law, act like you're men of God, and do the exact same things they're doing. As a matter of fact, it's worse for you to do that than it is for them. And you know what? It's so evil for you to do that. I'm going to forgive them. He killed somebody, but at least he stood on it and told you that's what he was going to do. You doing the same thing and you portraying like you with me. Nah, you know what? You good. Come on back home, son. You with me. You know what? I'm trying to provoke you to jealousy now because I and matter of fact, find that precept. I'll find that one. It's in where is that at? It's in Acts of Romans. Provoke them to jealousy. Romans 11:11.
Okay.
And that's what it means right here. This is what's all being talked about. So it is definitely an important thing. It's like, damn, these niggas are really evil. Like I would cold-blooded killer, gangbanger, whatever, a drug dealer, they'll do anything. But they're like, you know what? I ain't gonna play with God though. Like you have to really be heartless and soulless to open up a church to hustle people out of money, grandmas. Like, yeah, I pimp a girl, send her to the block. She got to pay me no attention. Like, okay, at least they know this is a pimp. All right. Anybody with two brains, like, okay, it's not a good person. You might get sucked over to the life in the world. It's like everybody knows he's not a good person. But from some 8-year-old woman to come to some church, but when he leave, he's doing the same. Yeah, man, I just broke about 15 of these old broads. You know what I mean? They gave me all they like, damn, this nigga evil. You took evil to another level to portray as a man of God. and still be the same way. You know what I mean?
Come on.
This is just something else. But yep, go ahead.
Book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid.
Mm-hmm.
But rather through their fall, salvation come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
Right. One more time.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
Say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Mm-hmm.
God forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles.
Right. So even that. So even with the Judites or the Southern Kingdom falling, that also brought salvation to the Gentiles or to the Northern Kingdom. Keep going. Mm-hmm.
For to provoke them to jealousy.
Right. And so that's what in a way it'll make us seeing them be able to come back was supposed to provoke them to jealousy as well. Meaning like Christ, you going out, or Paul going out and teaching these people, and they're the uncircumcised, they haven't been circumcised, they haven't gone to Passover, but they're living righteously for real. And that's like us in the truth, you know. We all are the Northern Kingdom or whatever, you know what I mean? We all are Gentiles now. This is us now. So bringing it full circle to what you talking about initially, like we are coming from raising from the dead, Northern and Southern Kingdom. But you know, at this time, that was supposed to provoke them to be jealous. Like, hold on, how is it that this person that grew up celebrating Christmas, eating shrimp, eating crab, got a white wife? How does he have more brotherhood? How is he more honorable? How's he living a more upstanding life than the Sadducee and Pharisee who are supposed to be the men of God? You know what I mean? You know, matter of fact, let's see what they're learning over here. Let me go and follow the ways of Christ. And that's what the Christians are supposed to see. The hypocrisy comes over and over and over again. Like I was telling the same girl, she was a Christian. I'm like, yeah, in our school, yeah, man can have more than one wife. I'm like, how did I say it? Basically, long story short, I just told her, if brothers come in here and they doing something wrong, like you sleeping with another man's wife, we're gonna kick you out of the school. If you do something and you molest a child, we're gonna kick you out of the school. She was like, yeah, that's good. I like that. Because you know, in the church, you always hear about the pastor sleeping with somebody's wife. Like they all know, they all have these same stories. You know what I mean? They know, they think that comes along with the Bible. Like you have to accept abuse. This is going to church. You go to this church, there's gonna be a pastor sleeping with somebody's wife. You go over here, it's gonna be the same thing. So I still love the Lord. God forgive him. God forgive me. We still can do this thing. When they don't realize it's supposed to be boundaries set up. Now, if the Lord chooses to forgive you for that, that's between you and the Lord. But we're not gonna have you amongst us living certain things we cannot, accept. And they don't have any rules like that in the church. So she was shocked to hear that's what we do. But yeah, so we should provoke them to jealousy. That how is it TD Jakes has $80 million, but he's not helping anybody. And then we don't have anything, but we can change brothers' lives. They should be like, okay, let's see what they're doing. Let's go and follow them. All right.
Okay.
So that was that. Let's see, the brother had any more questions before I go to this other brother's question.
Allah, sir.
All right. No, sir. Most High Christ. Malcolm Yah. He says, Salaki, if I may, why is Yahawashai referred as the morning star and Lucifer referred as the morning star? So it's a simple question. For one, Lucifer is not Satan. It's not the Lucifer that you're reading about. Give me Isaiah 14.
Okay.
And then let's see if we can find where it calls Christ the morning star. Do you know Mokan?
Allah, sir.
Are you familiar with the precept that I'm going to? Or maybe when you see it. All right. Isaiah 14
and 12.
should be right. Yep. Yep.
This is the book of Isaiah,
Mhm.
chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Mhm.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weakest nations?
Right. And let me see. Is there anything else that says a bright and morning star? Let's see. But basically, Lucifer right here is talking about a king that was over Babylon. And when it says a morning star, it's just talking about like how we would say celebrity, the star of fame. On the Walk of Fame, they put a star down there to represent somebody that's up high, that people look up to, and that has a lot of fame and glory. And that was just an old term that we still use to this day. This person is a movie star. This person is a rap star. This person is an all-star. We still use this terminology to this day, and that's the same way it was being used at that time. Lucifer was a bright, and let's see, go to Revelations 22 and 16. Um,
16.
mhm,
Book of Revelations, chapter 2,
mhm.
verse 16. Repent, or else I will come unto thee quickly and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He that hath an ear, let him hear what the
Hold on,
Spirit.
where you at?
Verse 2:16.
22 and 16.
22:16.
So like, yeah. What time we got? Okay, damn, it's already 9 o'clock. We.
22:16.
Yeah.
I'm having my Bible messing with me.
I told you, that's why my sword, I got the paper. I like that. It never sticks. That's one thing why this is always my favorite. Yeah. It's not that type of Bible paper.
Like the suction gets it stuck.
Yep. It definitely will slow you down.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
I, Yahushai, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches.
Mm-hmm.
I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star.
Right. So even with kings, like it was talking about Lucifer, who was a king in Babylon. When you go back to and you read in Isaiah 14, it's all as a prophecy. It was a title they were given to this king, and Christians turned and made it to mean Satan or whatever, in a spiritual demon or whatnot. So this title to this king was the bright and morning star because he was so great. They say Christ will be the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. It's different times. Other kings called themselves that too. Like you will see, let's say Nimrod, one of even Xerxes. That might have been one of his titles, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Heathens called themselves that. Christ was prophesied to be that as well. Is that some evil? Is he evil because he had the same title as another king? No, it's just showing his superiority and that he is that guy. You know what I mean? So that's what that's being said. Go ahead.
Sorry, sir.
Mhm.
I was going to ask because I haven't seen this verse be used, or I may be mistaken, but I haven't seen this verse be used to justify regeneration. Would this precept also be able to be used for that?
What's that?
Would this precept also be able to be used for to back up regeneration?
Because how so?
Because it says, "I am the root and the offspring of David."
Right. Yeah. I am the root and the offspring of David. How are you saying regeneration though? Because of King Solomon? Because
So like it because
He's-
he's the root of King David, so he came before he like
oh,
before
okay,
King David,
okay.
he's the offspring as well of King David.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to check and see that. Because always when I heard the root, I'm usually thinking like the beginning of the family tree. Now you're saying like you're saying like the beginning of the family tree, and as it grows out, the root. Like you're saying like the beginning and the end. The root that's at the bottom, and the offspring is what grows out of it.
So
Right.
the root of the seed,
You're the beginning. Yeah.
of that tree,
Right.
and then
The offspring is
the fruit that
what
comes
comes
out.
from right out. Yeah, yeah. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to double check on that one because I see what you mean. I always took it as the root, meaning he is just from King David,
Okay.
but roots do come before the tree, so that's a good one. Let me write that one down. I need to write that down. Questions or something like that. Check and see. Yeah, the water. Yeah, just in case. The roots and offspring. Let me see. Questions. Revelation 22 and 16.
Okay.
All right. So I'm trying to find something for the brother. Ancient Kings. Let's see. Uh-huh. So there we go. Okay, found something. It's interesting right here. Try to put this on. Maybe I put it on the screen. So go to Revelation 17 and 14. All right. And then I'm going to try to share this on the screen for the brother Mawul Khan. If he's still here with us, we'll share screen. All right. And maybe you'll be able to see this on there. But go ahead.
Revelations chapter 17, verse
Mhm.
14. These shall make war with the Lamb,
Mhm.
and the Lamb shall overcome them.
Mhm.
For he is the Lord of lords
Mhm.
and King of kings.
Right.
And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
Right. So now, ancient India, this is talking about the title of King of Kings. The King of Kings was a ruling title employed primarily by monarchs based in the Middle East, almost most commonly associated with Iran, especially the Achaemenid and Sasanian Empire. The title was originally introduced during the Middle Assyrian Empire by King Tukliti Nurata the First, and subsequently was used in a number of different kingdoms and empires, including the aforementioned Persia, various Hellenistic kingdoms, Armenia, Georgia, and Ethiopia. The title is commonly seen as equivalent to that of an emperor, both titles outranking that of a king in prestige. So it's like you are not only a king, but you are the king of kings. So you, all these other nations bow down to you and they pay tribute to you. They have to pay homage to you. Let's see. And it just goes on and talks about that. And it talks about Judaism, Hamelech, whatever. King of Kings came to be used as the name of God. King of Kings is also used to reference Jesus Christ several times in the Bible, notably in First Epistle Timothy and twice in the book of Revelations. So also in ancient India, they use this title. So long story short, that's the same thing that was going on with the Morning Star. This is a way you identified and had a title for a king, and that's the same title that was used to identify Christ because he was becoming a great king, or is the great king. And that's all that is about.
Okay.
Yep. All right, makes sense. All right, that's it for 904. Unless we got any questions in the room, last thing, and see the online. I think we could go ahead and close out. All right. You want to run through it one more time? You want me to walk me through it? So we should work on it after class or something, but I think you got it.
Men of Israel. Oh, Salaki.
Are you on the board, Malcolm? Yeah. All right.
Salaki?
No, I was saying he said the water on here. So are you on the board?
Men of Israel, Madra. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the
Teacher?
to our teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Men of Israel, Hamad Shabbat. Hamad. Barak. Yahaba Shimi Shad Rakatha.
Y'all about Shem Yashai Ragathum.
Hamad.
No.
Oh, fuck it.
Yad Yum.
Yadyam Mata.
Mm-hmm.
Men of Israel. Sar to face the sisters.
All right.
We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel. Hamad Shabbat. Hamad. Barak.
How Shamar Al by Shem Yashai.
Yadyam Mata.
Mhm.
Sar. Dismiss.
Right there. You good. That was it. Sign Christ.